how's it going? I know. Crazy hectic, right? Well, sit back and relax and welcome to the Mom and Pop Spot. Help me welcome my dad and the host of the show, St. Patrick.
Welcome to all my moms, pops, guardians, and guests. This is episode number 17 in the Mom and Pop Spot podcast. Today we'll be discussing mom life. I have a mother who stays 8 toes down and 2 big ass thumbs to the ground. This mom is very loving, caring, and just a dope individual. Please show love to Bernice to the show. There we go. I apologize. I do that a lot, so I apologize.
Thank you.
Yeah. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
What are you doing? I mean, how are you like on a scale from 1 to 10? Mentally, emotionally?
Oh gosh, I feel like I'm everywhere mentally. Gosh, I would say like an 8, 7.
I mean, that's good. Actually, majority of my guests are usually at that number.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot being a parent.
Right.
Mentally, physically, everything.
Especially in today's time.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. And how are you doing emotionally?
Emotionally, I have my moments. I have teenagers, so I'm not one to like cry though.
Yeah.
And so like my moments when I feel like I want to just cry, they're like in the car.
Oh, that's
I'm
funny.
like, I try to stay strong. I'm the one that tries to stay strong for everybody.
But why do you say that? Why do you feel like that is?
I don't know. I think honestly, I just feel like I have to. Maybe I've always felt like that. Like I have to be the strong one.
Right.
And maybe it's because I was an only child. Like I didn't have any siblings until, gosh, my mom had my only sibling that I have when I was 15.
Uh-huh.
So I've just grown up by me, and I felt like it's just, I don't know, like I don't know, it was weird. I don't know.
Yeah. And I gravitated to that because of the fact that, like, I mean, recently, this past week, the news was Ellen's. I hate the fact they're saying it's Ellen's, DJ, but because he was more than just Twitch.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at him, and even the video that he had just posted 24 hours prior, dancing. He just celebrated 9-year anniversary. He's in the video with his kids, and it's heartbreaking.
I saw that. That was just, oh my God, devastating.
Right.
It's just, who knew that, somebody that successful was going through so much stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very popular right now with a lot of people.
Right.
So that is so sad. Ugh.
But when I think about that, because you say sometimes you cry in the car and stuff like that, how are you able to extend that and be able to vent? At your versus being enclosed, you're able to vent and say, like I need me time, because it's a real thing.
Yeah. Well, I do have like my 2 best friends.
Uh-huh.
I have a few really close friends that I vent to all the time.
Yeah.
And, they always have great advice too. But there's just something about being alone when I'm driving to work. Like I just start to think about everything, like just like, your life and, what you want. You want your kids to just, be successful in this
Right.
life. That's like the one thing as a parent,
Uh-huh.
is just making sure I'm doing all the right things. Like, am I doing all the right things? And I think about that. And
Right.
sometimes, like, I see my oldest thriving right now, my 18-year-old,
Uh-huh.
and she's going to college. She's, she's not really out there, but she's slowly putting herself out there, in like a very careful way. And I was thinking about that the other day. And I just started crying. I'm like, I'm just so proud of her,
Right.
like I'm so proud of the woman that she's becoming, like, just for being 18. I know when I was 18,
Uh-huh.
I did not have a mindset like that.
Yeah. I mean,
It is night and day, her and I,
yeah.
And I literally like just look at her and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I wish when I was that age, I had that ambition that she has. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Even that smarts. I mean, these kids nowadays are so smart.
yeah.
I'm like, man, like I wish I had that, because when I was their age, I was getting into trouble like nonstop.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when I was 18, I don't even think I tell the girls any of the stuff that I did when I was 16, 17, 18.
I kind of a little bit.
Did
I tell
you?
my boys a little bit. Some of the stuff, not some of the more extreme stuff, but I've gotten into like some situations. I'm like, okay, here's a scenario.
Yeah.
So be careful if you go into these situations.
Yes.
But when I look at a younger version of me, I probably wouldn't even be friends with myself, just because I was like so out there, and I was always looking for validation.
Yeah.
And even up until recently, I was still looking for validation because I'm like, man, I'm doing everything I can to try to like get people to respect me, to
Yeah.
to like me in a sense. And now I'm just like I'm starting to kind of gravitate or trying to like pull away from it, because now I'm just like fuck that. Like I don't care. They don't
Yeah.
like me. They don't like me. I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely, I agree. I think we do go through that no
Uh
matter
huh.
what age we are.
Yeah.
Even when I was a teenager, I think I was still looking for validation.
Yeah.
You all are people going to like me?
Right.
I think that always we go through life thinking that, and
Yeah.
it never just goes away. And then finally, I think we're at an age where we're just like, forget it. I don't even care anymore. Like, if you don't like what I have to say, then don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Like everybody has different personalities, and
Yeah.
as we get older, we see who we're compatible with,
Right.
because even though I have my two best friends,
Uh
like,
huh.
they've known me since I was in middle school,
Oh wow. I mean
and
that's good.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, I couldn't live without them. Honestly,
Yeah.
they're just the best ever. But even like friends, like new, like I've met, like when I'm an esthetician,
Uh huh.
so I met all kinds of other women in different ages, and you kind of see who meshes with you and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's just a whole nother world out there.
Yeah.
Different people all the time.
And then going into, because I kind of steered away. Like I had this whole like stuff that we were going to talk about, and then I kind of just But I did want to focus in, kind of back on the depression. Have you ever battled depression yourself?
I wish I was so aware of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think with my first daughter, when I had her, I was really young.
Yeah.
I had just turned 21,
Yeah.
literally. And I think I did battle depression. Like, I remember I was a stay-at-home mom. I was very, very grateful for
Right.
that, that I was able to stay home with my daughter, my firstborn,
Yeah.
and she was a big crybaby,
Yeah.
and she needed to be like held all the time, all the
Yeah.
time. So if she wasn't in my arms, like I couldn't put her down. She was
Yeah.
just crying, and I remember like, oh my gosh, like this is so much work. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm a mom, and I'm like, trying to console her.
But also postpartum.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure I had it,
Yeah.
like with my first daughter, but I had
Wow.
no idea that was even a thing back then.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
because
know?
now, I mean, it was kind of frowned upon, I think, back
Yes.
then. And then, it also wasn't talked about, on top of that.
Mhm.
So I mean that's crazy. Um and how are you doing as a mom now?
Um, I have my moments,
Yeah.
like it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. Like I said earlier, like you just don't know if you're ever doing the right thing,
Right.
like I just try my hardest to like make sure, everybody has everything that they need, and,
Mhm.
their health and all that stuff. Like, I talk to them, I have my talks with them, and sometimes I don't even want to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
It's hard. And then sometimes when I think they're not listening to me
Right.
and I see something like they do or they say it, I'm like, oh, they are listening to me,
Yeah.
you know?
So what's one thing that I could look forward to, when my kids get older? Like what's one of the most important or the most special thing about being a parent at your point right now?
I would say just having conversations with them,
Mhm.
like adult conversations, like to get like pick their brain,
Yeah.
like like situations that they're going through, and like
Mhm.
always you have to be careful how you give feedback,
Right.
like too much feedback might be too much, but you want to get through to them to where they can listen to you. So you kind of have to spin it in like how do you say it, like a certain way. You gotta
Right.
say it a certain way for them to, like, really hear you, you
Uh-huh.
know? That's how I feel. That's what I do, and, like, I try to like, I'm your mom,
Uh-huh.
but I'm also your friend. I want you to tell me things,
Yeah.
So it's a real thin line, I want my girls to, be able to trust me and come to me with anything,
Uh-huh.
So I think, it's a challenge. It's
So when you're being open with them, does that line ever get Cross?
Absolutely.
Yeah. In what ways?
Absolutely it does.
In what ways?
Oh gosh, we won't talk about all the ways, but
Yeah.
definitely, just like the way that they talk this generation, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's like, fuck, that's I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, calm down. Let's just talk normal for a minute,
Yeah.
okay? And we talk normal, but I mean, it's the line is it's a thin line. It's
Yeah.
hard to try to get them to hear you
Mhm.
and,
Have you ever came close to like where you're just like you're ready to throw blows? And I say that because I think of my sister and my mom, like they were boxing it out. And I mean, if we were in today's time, my phone would have been out, would have been like World Star, you know what I mean? But back then, I mean, I was like, shit, like I was in the other room, like I don't want to be around here 'cause I'm gonna get
yeah.
my ass kicked too.
You know,
Somebody.
I don't know. Like I never really. I feel like I'm pretty chill for the
Uh-huh.
most part. The girls, like my two oldest ones. They're 18 months apart.
Yeah.
So there's consistently fighting over something, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, enough, enough is enough. Stop it. Mom, she won't give me this back, mom. And I'm just like, you guys need to just stop. Like, this has just been a reoccurring thing.
Yeah.
When is it going to end? That's like how I talk to them,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like it just never, I don't
Do
even
they
know.
box it out?
Oh, heck yeah,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I have videos of
Oh
them
wow.
just boxing it out, on
Yeah.
pulling each other. They have long, long hair,
Yeah.
and they're pulling each other's hair, and then the other one's, like, on top of her, you can't even see her.
Yeah.
It's actually hilarious, and I try not to laugh, but, hey, you guys got beef with each other? Box it out.
Yeah.
Get it out, come on.
I mean, that's good. I wish we would start doing that, you know, to an extent, I guess, because of the fact that it gives them tough skin.
Yeah,
And I know I'm gonna get, some backlash on it, but I think that's what we need because the fact that it's just we're so quick to be offended about anything
everything.
and everything. And I'm just like, man.
Mhm, mhm.
So I wanted to ask, what have you done for yourself lately? What's a good way of pampering yourself?
I'm a big advocate of taking care of myself. That's
Uh-huh.
one thing that I do take pride in.
Yeah.
For me, it makes me feel good to look good.
Mhm.
You know, get my hair done, get my nails done, my toes done. I'm older, so
Mhm.
I'm 39. So I mean, my stuff is starting to get a little wrinkly. So I do my Botox now these days, and a little bit
Yeah.
of filler here and there. Like stuff like that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Doing just keeping up with myself, honestly.
Thinking about Botox. At any point does it make it to where it's like too much?
Yeah, if you you gotta I feel like these women, like, they're like, all over and they're, like, stuck on their face, like, just do it where you need it, like, how your face looks,
Yeah.
like, just do it little here, little there, like, don't do it to where you can't move your face at all, you
Some of
know?
them look crazy.
I know.
And it goes to a point where some of these women are beautiful and
Mhm.
they just keep adding to it and it's like, man, like what did respectfully saying, like what did you do to yourself, Because
Yeah.
now they got these gigantic lips. Like if you feel like if you, poke it, it's gonna pop, it's just and it's just not in the face, it's the whole entire body. And I'm
I
like,
know.
man, like so where does that go with you with your daughters?
Like, Botox-wise?
Yeah. Or just any type of stuff.
Um they know that they're so young. They don't need any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't, they know that I'm only it's just a keep up. It's a keep up,
Uh-huh.
to make yourself feel a little better,
Yeah.
So they're not for any of that stuff. They're beautiful girls. They know that. They know they don't need any of that junk.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep reminding them, because sometimes, like my middle one, Alexis, she's 16, she'll say like, "My lips are so tiny." I'm like, "Your lips are beautiful."
Yeah.
Like, just stop. You're watching too much TikTok, or I'll say something like that. Like
Yeah.
that's all nonsense,
Right.
like you can't pay attention to that crap.
Yeah.
It's funny because my cousin, he's from Texas, and he told my aunt, and my aunt told my mom, he's like, "Tell her to stop putting lip filler in her lips. Her lips look big." And I'm like, "What? I don't think so."
Yeah.
And then he was telling my mom that, and I'm like, "Whatever. Okay, fine. I won't do it anymore."
Yeah. Oh, he was saying that about you.
Yeah, he said that
Oh,
about me. I'm like, "I feel like my lips are so tiny."
yeah.
And he's like, "No, don't let her do that anymore." And he's like a couple years younger than me. I think he's like 35 or something like that, 34.
Yeah.
But he's a trip. He always has something to say. Always. He's like that funny cousin,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't take it to the heart.
and it's good too if he's saying it from the heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
So I'm
good.
like, all right, I'll calm down. Maybe I did a little too much. Fine.
Uh-huh. I mean, it looks nice. I
Yeah.
mean, you just don't want it to where it's just like, it's just like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Your lips look swollen.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say to those parents who are trying to have their kids live out their personal dreams? Have you ever came to a situation like that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My daughter right now, my oldest, she's 18. She's going to college. She just graduated this year in May. Then she went straight to college her freshman year, just community college, nothing
Right.
crazy. I did tell her, like, you can go to a university, you're going to pay all this money, but why?
Right.
Stay home. Like, the community college where I live, it's Estrella Community. It's 5 minutes away from my house, 10 minutes away tops, like, be smart, like, save your money, and just stay home and go to school. She's actually going to school to be an attorney. She wants to be an attorney. So that's her ultimate goal, is to go to law school. So that's her journey right now.
If she does, I would advise to make sure that she does the most and everything towards her mental health, because I mean, I've seen a few people go through it and I didn't realize, like, suicide rate, depression, everything within that, because of all the stress that they have to overcome to get to where they want to be. So before we continue, I wanted to take a quick coffee adjustment break, pay some bills, do all that fun stuff. We'll be right back.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Aisha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
Welcome back. So I wanted to discuss mom life. You as a mom, your life as a mom. What is mom life at your age?
Oh my gosh, mom life at my age. Honestly, I mean, my kids are older, 18, 16, and 12. I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night anymore. Like, my kids fend for themselves, So I feel like I feel like this is more of a relaxed phase now, like, okay, I can sleep in. I don't have to get up and feed the kids. Like, I will every now and again and make breakfast, but everybody, you're for yourself. I'm not your maid. You can get up and you can make your own
Do it
breakfast.
yourself.
Yeah. Or you can help me cook, because that's what it is. Like, I feel like when I do get in the habit of cooking all the time, they expect it. I'm like, nah, you guys are grown adults. You can make your own breakfast, lunch, and dinners now, So it's definitely starting to feel like more at ease, more relaxed. When before it was like you're constantly worried about, like, oh my God, did my kids eat? Oh my God, like every little thing, it's.
Do you like cooking?
Honestly, I hate cooking.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Seriously, though, my mom wasn't the best cook.
Yeah.
My grandma was, though. Oh my God, my grandma was amazing cook.
Yeah.
Like, she would cook for us all the time. Like, that was, grandmas, that was their thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can't name one dish that my nana makes where it's not bad. Like, it's just everything that she makes just good.
Well, I think all you guys know how to cook really well. Even Christina,
Well, we grew up in the struggle, so we had to find stuff to make half the time.
Yeah.
We'd top ramen. We'd go to the store and go buy the dried up shrimp. To mix it up, we'd buy mushrooms and
yeah.
That's what made it good, because you grew up part of the struggle. We knew how to,
sure did.
to make it work. What is someone that's a parent that you would admire?
It's my mom.
Yeah.
My mom, like, she was a single mom.
Mhm.
She had me.
Yeah.
She went through a lot. And she was a young mom. She was 20, I think, when she had me, 20. So sometimes I feel like I grew up with her.
Yeah.
And I seen her struggles. And I think that's right there in itself. Like, how when you see someone struggles, you learn from them,
Right.
and you just know, like, man, that's not what I want for my kids.
Yeah.
Not that I had a horrible like growing up, but we definitely struggled. We definitely moved from apartment to apartment. Like, it was not the easiest. We never lived in like the nicest neighborhoods, and I
I always
just
thought it was different though. My perception of you was always like,
really
yeah,
what like I mean, we lived in these apartments my entire life.
yeah.
Like my mom didn't buy her first
But I
home.
think it was the way that she carried herself. She carried herself
Probably.
really well.
My mom did. That was
Yes.
one thing about my mom. She was struggling,
Yeah.
but let me tell you, she had all her nice stuff that she wanted. And maybe that's why I am like, I do keep up with myself and I do like to have the nicer things, because even though she struggled,
Yeah.
she worked her butt off to where she still was able to get herself those things,
Yeah.
And maybe that's probably what you see of her,
Yeah, because I was like, man, like this girl like has it, good for herself.
And even for me though, I remember her buying me nice things. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, because we used to live over there by Metro,
Yeah.
in Metro Village,
Uh-huh.
and the mall was right there.
Yeah.
And I remember her always taking me to Dillard's and like buying me like guest clothes and all this nice stuff. Like I always had nice things growing up, even though I knew my mom was struggling.
Yeah.
So
Man, I'm gonna give her a round of applause because that's dope. That's dope. The fact that she can do that, and because the fact that like, and I think about a time where I was just like, us as parents, sometimes we sacrifice, but we don't tell our kids our struggle. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but we only tell them as much as they need to hear or as much as they need to know.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that like there was, one time in particular where I'm like, man, I just got laid off of work. Literally, my son was maybe 2. We had 2 different houses. We bought one house. We still had our other house we were renting out, and the renters weren't paying from our one house, and I had to make all this different finances going out, and I was like stressed. I was like, shit. Christmas was coming around.
Yeah.
We have the dumb ideal way of thinking, like, oh, we got to rush out to get all these gifts, we got to do this, we got to do that, but I never once made my kids, anybody, aware that I was struggling.
Yeah.
But it was because of the fact that like I had to make it amped me up to be able to work harder in that moment. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Could you be a mom all over again?
No, not at this age. Not at 39. You couldn't pay me to be a mom
No?
again. No,
Yeah.
no. It's too much. And even now, like I think I look back and I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? 3 kids? What?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Did I think I was rich or something?
3 girls.
And they're girls.
Yeah, I'm terrified. I say this time and time again. I'm terrified to have girls.
You have all boys?
All boys.
Oh my.
Yes, even our dog is a boy. Yeah.
Our dog is a boy.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no way. I just it's a lot mentally, physically, just everything. And I feel like now these days there's just so much more out there. Like
Yeah.
I feel like back then, like I wasn't worried about my kid having, something going wrong with them while I'm pregnant. I wasn't thinking like that when I was younger, like because you don't know what could
Right.
happen, when you're pregnant, anything. So I feel like now that I'm more aware that I'm at this age,
Yeah.
I would be just anxiety through the roof. Like, oh my God, is my baby okay? Oh my gosh, just worried about
It would just be
everything.
scary because I mean,
Yeah.
even like the main one, having a baby right now, you got to think of Down syndrome. You got to think of
All that.
autism. It's just so many of other stuff that you have to be worried for. And a lot of people are having it. So more respect, more power to them.
More power to them for sure. Because that's a lot on your body, especially when you get older. Everything just starts to is different.
I will attest to that. I mean, my 10 and 12-year-old, I was like, prior to the baby being born, I'm like, yeah, I got this. I'm going to be super good. I'm in the gym 2 or 3 hours. I'm like all over the place. I'm like, I got this. It's going to be easy. And one of my coworkers, he was like, nah, like it's going to get you. And sure enough, the baby was born. I'm like, shoot, I'm always tired now. I'm hitting the gym whenever I can because I'm just like, shoot, like this kid keeps me on my toes.
How old is your baby?
He's 2.
Oh, he's 2. So is he going through terrible twos yet?
He's been since he came out the womb. Yeah, he came out terrible months, terrible 1s, terrible 2s. Yes, this kid has an attitude. This kid will flip me off. Like this kid has no like. This kid is very
Oh my God, that's
disrespectful.
hilarious.
Yeah, he's gonna put me a run for my money. So, Thinking about that, when you're looking at your kids, um, do you look at all of them and be like, man, like this one's gonna give me a run for my money. This one's gonna be super easy.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Like that middle one, man. I don't know about that middle one. Whoever said that saying, the middle ones are the ones that are really out there.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That middle one's scary, man, because I feel like that middle one is me
Yeah.
times 1,000.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was not like, I won't lie. When I was a teenager, I had my struggles. I used to get in trouble a lot. You know, I hated school. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is hilarious. That's my middle son.
I hated it.
Yeah, like we had a situation on Friday because it was like, do you want to go to school? Do you not? Because it was half day. They were having just pretty much parties. And the beginning of the week is like, yeah, I want to go. He's like, because we're going to be having parties. He's like, I'm going to get a goodie bag. So he was all for it. And then kind of find out like on Wednesday, he's like, I don't want to go on Friday. And I'm like, why the sudden change of heart? He's like, oh, I already got my goodie bag. I don't need to go on Friday. And I'm like, but you're going to be having parties. He's like, they can have the party. Like, I already got my goodie bag. I'm good. He never wants to go to school.
Oh my God.
And he has to question everything. It's like, dude, take a break. Go to your room.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves to challenge me.
It's funny because my 12-year-old,
Yeah.
she I always ask her when I pick her up, how was your day at school? Same, boring. I'm like, boring?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And she's like, I'm like, you didn't have a good day? She's like, it was all right.
I used to love school.
You did?
Yeah, I used to love it until I got kicked out. But
I remember
I
those
take
days.
I take it as a blessing though, because of the fact that it made me a better person.
Oh, and I think that's good because you know what? We all have our moments.
Right.
You have to remember that. We're gonna fall
Yeah.
sometimes. We are, and that's okay.
Uh-huh.
You know, and that's actually something that when your kids get older to tell them, like, it's okay to fall.
Yeah.
You know, but get up, pick yourself back up.
Yep.
You know, it's okay to be depressed. It's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. Be emotional.
Yeah.
Like that's something I talk about with the girls. You know, like just pick yourself back up and get right back on it. Life is a roller coaster. Period.
Yeah. And I tell my boys all the time, it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with crying. Well, kind of. I tell them it's okay to cry if they have within reason. I don't like the whining bullshit.
Yeah.
We ain't whining in this house. Like,
yeah.
No, we're not doing that. But if you're crying because of the fact that you're like just drained, you're stressed, let's figure it out. Like, go ahead and, just get it out of your system. But let's figure it out because of the fact that you shouldn't be stressed at 10 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
My son, my oldest, he went through a situation where someone was, trolling him or whatever the case is. They were just calling him all kinds of different names. And he was just like, I don't know how to feel. And I'm like, they're on there for a reason.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in those situations for a reason. If you're going to be on there and you want to be on there, then you need to understand that there's going to be people on there that are going to do that for a reason.
Yeah. And there's always going to be trolls out there. That's another thing. There's always going to be
the internet's a different beast.
Oh, I'm actually sad for the kids this generation that have to deal with all that because that's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
We didn't have that growing up.
It's just fakeness, though.
It is.
It really
as long
is.
as you tell them that the person 9 times out of 10 wouldn't say that to your face.
Exactly.
True.
100%.
Everybody has all the balls.
Yeah.
When it comes to online, because they don't have to look you in your eyes.
Yep.
And they won't have the guts to do that in most situations.
Yep.
So just let them. It's fake.
Yeah.
Look at it as a movie.
Yeah.
I hate it though. I hate the TikTok. As
so
much as everybody loves it, and I get some of the stuff on there is, good stuff to learn. Like
cringy.
cooking. I like the cooking.
Yeah.
I do like the cooking part of it because I'm not the best cook, so I learned from that part. But all the other crap on there, I'm like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of people plan out their skits. It's just like doing anything else when they're doing a movie. It's a skit.
Yeah.
And understand that this is not real.
Yeah.
They plan this. This is a skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so cringy. I'm just like,
it is.
Like, I don't like it. Do you think men could handle pregnancy?
Like being pregnant?
Yeah.
Actually,
hold that thought. Dip, could you handle being pregnant?
Man, me myself, I think the human body is just amazing. You know what I'm saying? If we had to, we would figure out a way to survive.
Yeah, but could you handle it? You think yourself personally?
Yeah, I think so, man. I ain't gonna lie. I think that if it was a way that we could do it, I think we would do it and handle it and get through it, just like that women are. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to just get through it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had colds sometimes, and I'm like, actually no. So take that back. And I had you hold that thought because I wanted to. So when my wife was pregnant, I think it was with the second one. I went through my like ownership of her being pregnant. So I did like the whole water bag.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I did a water bag, and it was.
What does that mean? I never heard of that.
So I had a water bag, and I placed it, on the front part of myself, and it was those backpacks that people put water in,
Yeah.
and I wore it every single day, even when I drove. The only time I didn't was when I was taking a shower because I wanted to, to wash my chest and stuff. And then I also did the labor pain simulator. So I strapped up the thing. There's actually a video of me where my sister's like shocking the shit out of me
I never
because
even
the
heard of
fact
any of
that
this.
I wanted to be able to kind of honor her, but also experience what women go through. More power to them because a woman's body is amazing. It's fascinating, everything else. More respect to them and everything. But man, the backpack, my back was killing me. And I didn't even do it the whole term. I only did it, I think 30 days, something like that.
Yeah. How'd you do in the 30 days?
That's what I'm saying. Like my back was just like fucked. I felt like I had scoliosis.
Oh,
like, yeah,
it's bad.
yeah, it was messed up. Like I'm trying to work. I'm trying to drive was the issue because then I had to I'm short and I got little legs, so like I'm trying to drive, but then I have to like position the steering wheel to a certain point because I'm driving like out, and then I'm trying to like look up because it's just
Just think we have to do that for 9 months.
Yeah,
like that is forever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Trying to sleep was crazy too because you had to like position your body like different ways. So it definitely is an experience. I would love for more people to do it, and it would be dope if they actually had like full on like machines or like different stuff for people to actually do.
Yeah.
So that way they can kind of become more empathetic.
Yep.
Towards pregnant women.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
But do you think men can handle pregnancy?
I mean, there's guys getting pregnant now these days out there, So I mean, it can happen. Guys are doing it now these days. I've read them online, like, on the Snapchat stories. I always read those and I see there's a guy pregnant on there too. It's like, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This generation is 100% different now, It's crazy.
Yeah. At any point, do you compromise who you are as a mother for your kids' well-being? With that being said, to give an example, if you're going through like a trying time and you're like, shit, like say you're, you're low on funds and you're like, I can make next month's rent, I can pay the bills, whatever the case is, but I'm compromising who I am as a person, which means that I might have to do stuff that is gonna make me, be frowned upon, I guess.
Meaning like just not doing things for myself, even though I don't have the money to do it.
Yeah, or just like, you're having to sell yourself, you're having to sell drugs, like whatever the, more extreme stuff to be able to make ends meet.
Yeah, I mean, I never, nothing extreme like that, but I mean, I've sacrificed, a lot, being a mom, just, like, it's just what you do,
Right.
Yeah. Whether it be not paying a bill and getting groceries, like that's happened before, that's just part of life. Like there was times where we were struggling, and I was married. I had another person with me. So there was times where we would struggle together and we would just sacrifice not paying bills to make sure we had everybody's clothes and food and on the table and everybody has what they need, and somehow or way it works out. Like it just works.
It's crazy because I'm kind of like worrisome because of the times that we're in now.
Yeah.
Gas is so high, food is so high. It's just they're making it unbearable for these families, and it just,
I don't even know how people are living right now.
I don't know how.
It's crazy how gas, food is just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Like I spent $100 for bread, milk, your chips, cereal, like fruit, basic stuff, and I'm like, what did I get to eat?
Yeah.
These are all just like,
You used to get a full basket with that.
Yeah.
And now I'm, lucky if I can get, 5 items. I mean, I feel like I've gone to Target, with that kind of price and stuff. So definitely is crazy.
It is.
What about you, Dip, for your child, like as a father?
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I try to, financially, I tried to make sure that I was good, man,
Yeah.
before I really had her.
Uh-huh.
So I really haven't had any financial situations so far to really have to sacrifice anything
Yeah.
major. But we make sure she's straight first. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's most definitely, because you want to make sure you have money to make for she can have
Right.
diapers and wipes and all those things. So she has to come first. So
Yeah.
definitely every day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But I tried to make sure, man, that we were straight, and
Yeah.
we weren't having any money problems,
Yeah.
or just issues from life. I tried to make sure as much as I could. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, man, it's an everyday sacrifice.
Yeah, it is everyday sacrifice.
And you're never ready either.
No.
I mean, sometimes even when you think you're ready, and then it's like, oh, you got all this other stuff that's hitting you.
Yep.
What's a mother's biggest insecurities?
Oh gosh, I think we have so many insecurities as mothers. We just want to make sure that we're just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We want to try and show our kids, like let's let's just keep on track,
Right.
like just making sure we're doing the right thing, honestly,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't know if I'm ever doing the right thing,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm working full time, and I just was recently diagnosed with lupus.
Yeah.
So that's been a struggle too, like having to tell the girls, like, listen, things are different now, like I really need you guys to step up to the plate. You're older. You guys know what, so that's been a struggle right there.
Yeah.
I think they don't really they don't understand fully what lupus does, and
Uh-huh.
that's okay, but I want them to know, like, things are different now,
Yeah.
Like, I'm struggling. Like, I've been on the struggle bus with this lupus stuff. Like, it's hard, and
Yeah.
I think that they get it, but sometimes, like, I'm like, "What did we just talk about?" Like,
Yeah.
so it's hard. It's hard,
And I want to revisit this one because I think I was mentioning earlier where we kind of get more in tune with the lupus.
Mhm.
But just to kind of like ask, another question before we move on, um, when you told your family, did that change the way that they treated you?
Um, at first my mom was just, like, super sympathetic about
Uh-huh.
it, like, how moms are,
Right.
they're just so worried, and she was crying, and I already was, like, in tears about it, but, I just feel like I think everything's kind of been the same for the most part,
Yeah.
I still don't really feel that they understand what I'm going through, and even with the girls,
Yeah.
I don't really feel, and I don't know if they'll ever understand what I'm going through,
Yeah.
because it's not like I'm every day venting about, oh, this is aching, like, I'm tired, like, because I don't want to complain, but sometimes I do, where I'm like, oh, I'm just exhausted, and so it's been a struggle with that,
Yeah.
having them I don't think they really truly understand how big of a deal lupus is,
Yeah.
you know?
So many people that I can think of, and I'm like, man, it's now respectfully saying it's become this epidemic where all these people are starting to get it. And I'm like, man, like it just kind of came out from nowhere. And it's just,
Literally, huh?
yeah.
Like, out of nowhere, I never even heard of lupus before this,
Yeah.
like, like I told you earlier, I heard it from Selena Gomez. She has a certain type of lupus,
Yeah.
and I'm like, before her, though, I had no idea lupus even existed.
Yeah.
No idea. So when I got the news, I was just like, I didn't even know whether to be shocked, like, sad, like, my emotions were just like, "What? Like,
Yeah.
how is this even possible? How is this happening to me?
Yeah.
How?" I'm 39, and all of a sudden, like, what happened? What's going on? Because I was the type of person to take care of myself,
Yeah.
like, I worked out, I went to the gym, I had a trainer, all that crap, and for it to just, not that I don't do it anymore, it's just I do, like, reform Pilates, which
Yeah.
is more or less like you're, trying to strengthen the body because
Okay.
you feel weak all the time.
Yeah.
So I really like that about Pilates. So that's what I do. That's the only type of workout I can do now because I can easily get a flare up.
Yeah.
So I just have to be careful on things that I do.
Well, I appreciate it because of the fact that you have a sprained ankle.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
No, I mean, but the fact that like these last 2 weeks have just been so frustrating because I'm like, man, all these guests are, bailing out, canceling out. I'm just like, it's depressing a little bit, to be honest with you. And here
Yeah.
you come in with the sprained ankle, you're dealing with Lupus and everything else, and you stay committed. So my heart goes to you. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. If you can change one thing about parent life, what would it be?
That's a hard one because, like, with my girls, sometimes I feel that they just don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like they've been through the struggle that I've been through growing up.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I wish they could see like what I went through to understand more.
Yeah.
I feel like they live in the moment as every teenager does. They don't ever see the bigger picture until they get older,
Yeah.
right? Like, 'cause I'm sure that's what we did, right?
Right.
We didn't see the bigger picture
We didn't. Yeah.
for forever. I know
Yeah.
I didn't. I just wish that, the girls could see where I came from,
Yeah.
and I've showed them. I've drove. We used to live on 7th Street in Osborne,
Uh-huh.
and I showed them these little apartments that we lived in right behind. Used to be a Safeway right there,
Yeah.
and they were not the greatest apartments. Okay, and
Yeah.
I would drive down there sometimes when I was over there, and I just show them. Well, this is where I lived. I lived here for a long time. We lived here, and my Nina lived upstairs. So when my mom was gone, I was at my Nina's house upstairs. And the apartments were nothing great.
Yeah.
Like, I just wish that this generation could really more listen to what we went through. I think they're listening, but not really listening.
Yeah, they're not comprehending.
They're
what
not
we go through.
comprehending.
Yeah, because I mean, the struggle back then is not the struggle that it is today.
No.
Not even remotely close
No.
to what we went through.
Yeah.
I didn't comprehend what my mother was talking about, so I understand.
Yeah.
I just couldn't comprehend what she was talking about.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
It is.
So, my mother talked more about a lot of racism and things that she faced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ugliness that she saw. And we just didn't see it. So
Yep.
it was hard to see the things that she saw from her eyes.
Right.
So we got to understand they will never.
Yeah.
They will
won't.
never be able to see it, man. And just because life is just so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we just have to try to make them the best we can. It sucks, but ain't really nothing we could do, bro.
It might be surreal though if you think about it, because you're like how you're saying that your mom used to talk about it, and then now it's coming to where it's like to light. You're like, man, this is what my mom was talking about, and then even surreal part because of the fact that it's still an issue today.
Yeah, but it's never as bad as what she was talking about. Like
Yeah.
she would talk about stuff like she couldn't cross the street. There were people running her and chasing her. Like that, I've never seen. That ain't nobody did.
Oh, okay.
I mean, ain't nobody messing with. You know what I mean? They know it's gonna be a fight. You know what I'm saying? So like it's like different time, different thinking, just different situations. It's like how the power it's just different. There's no way I would even take that. You know what I mean? And my mind state was just like, I would fuck them up. You know what I mean? So it's like we just can't think the way they grew up in the fucking 50s, 60s. You know what I mean? It's no way.
Yeah. That I would love to hear your opinion on. Have you heard of Ectolife?
No.
No.
What is
What about
that?
you, Dip?
No.
So Ectolife is a renewable energy company. They're going to be bringing the first artificial womb facility.
Wow.
They say that they could grow 30,000 babies yearly. This is crazy. I was looking into it.
Yeah.
They have like a warehouse and it's just a bunch of pods.
This is the Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh my
Matrix. Totally.
It's the
It
Matrix.
is. Yeah.
Jesus.
They tripping, man.
I can't even wrap my mind around that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, we're gonna have a bunch of just clones,
Oh my
robots.
God.
Hey, we already doing test tube babies. I mean, what's this?
I mean, that is true. People are able to get pregnant now just by in vitro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, what does that say for your kids?
I hope my kids will not do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, but like because the world that they're gonna be living in.
Oh gosh.
Man.
I don't even know.
It's when you think about like even like to the extreme where people are getting, real life robots and having sex with them and stuff like that.
Oh,
That's where
gosh.
I think it's gonna, eventually
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
evolve
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Um.
And people and if fertility keeps lowering the way it's going,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
is people going to be looking for options to have babies?
Yep.
There goes that
Because
life.
yeah, man. Because like I don't know, me myself, I'm on the fence
Yeah.
on how I think about this because I think people are just having less kids. They're saying that they think it's a fertility issue that people are having less kids. I think that people are making more protections to make sure that they don't.
I
Yeah.
You know what I
agree.
mean?
100%.
But
Yeah.
science is saying that fertility is lower. Man, I just don't know if I believe that.
To some extent, because the food that we're consuming.
Yes, that's what they're saying. The food,
Yeah.
alcohol, drugs, those things are dropping the fertility rates.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are a lot of people who are doing everything they can possible
Yeah.
to make sure they don't have kids.
Yeah. I feel like they're a lot smarter now this time around, though. Like some of my friends, like, oh, 2 is the max. That's it.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
like
Yeah.
no more. Because I think they've just seen, the struggles
Yeah,
of
man.
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
have so many kids,
Yeah, man.
you know?
Yeah. I
Nice.
mean, if I had some like if I didn't have to worry about money, I'd be the next Nick Cannon. Like I'd be having
Really?
I would,
Right.
yeah.
What
I
the
just read an
fuck,
article
man?
on him. He
Yeah.
he said something like, to all my family out there, my big family. I'm like,
I mean,
oh
I
my
wouldn't have
gosh.
that many, but I would have a big family.
Yeah.
I just think, babies are beautiful. I just,
They
family
are.
is good, and you know what I mean? Just
Mm,
and then I wouldn't have to work, so I can,
the process, man.
Oh, I
the
know.
process
Process.
is yeah,
It's the process.
it definitely is. But when, before I had my babies and stuff like that, like I used to babysit a ton of kids.
Did you?
Yeah, but I enjoyed it because of the fact that I knew how to work with them. I knew, like how to get them to like start. I mean, my kids, they all read and stuff like that.
Man,
Like,
you
and
crazy, man.
they were
I hated babysitting. That was not my
my,
thing.
my kids are reading that too because of the fact that like I work with them, I listen
Yeah,
to them,
that's
like
good.
So-
I
Yeah.
wanted nothing to do with kids before I had one like at
Same.
all.
And I
Yeah.
didn't have a sibling. Maybe that's why I was like, I liked it that I was by myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you think about kids when you were younger because you were an only one?
I remember sometimes I would wish I had like a sibling.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, my sibling ended up coming 15 years later, but
Yeah.
it's different. My
Uh-huh.
sister's only like 24.
Uh-huh.
My sister's young.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap.
It really is, yeah. I mean, on my dad's side, I'm the only boy. On my mom's side, my mom has she's like Thanos. That Thanos is the one with all the rings, right?
Mhm.
My mom is like Thanos because she has a boy from 3 different fathers.
Oh my gosh. But
I
that
love
was
you,
a
Mom.
thing back then.
Yeah.
That was a thing
Yeah.
back in their day.
Yeah, and no shade to my mom, so I love you. I'm just playing around about that. I mean, kind of, but not really. But she
She
has,
gonna kill you.
yeah. But like with me to my brothers, like we all have a big, age gap.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I understand where, that is where I'm trying to like, connect with them. But I know a lot of times I'm just like, it's my brother just being weird,
Yeah.
But yeah. The other one too is I always hear and I see a lot of posts where people are like you spent $8,000 to take your kids to Disneyland. And they try to shame parents because of the fact that they might not have the financial options to splurge on their kids.
Yeah.
What do you feel on those situations where parents are being shamed, just being able to have the financial means?
Well, good for them if they're able to do that,
Yeah.
figure it out, and come home and still be able to pay your bills.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't do that. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like the girls, I took them to Disneyland when they were probably like 7,
Yeah.
so they can remember. The youngest was probably like 4 or 3, and we did not spend no $8,000. I
Yeah.
think the max that we spent was like $2,500 for the
Yeah.
whole entire trip. We weren't like, you have to budget yourself.
You really do too.
Even
if you have that money, I think you should still budget.
Absolutely.
But I don't like the backlash. Like I think it's silly. Like, okay, if you have it, cool, keep it
Mhm.
running. If you don't, cool, keep it running. Like there's no
Yeah.
sense to like we're always looking for ways to attack people.
Yeah.
Whether it's parents to parents, it's just person to person. I think it's silly.
If I'm spending $8,000, we're going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to Disneyland.
And that's just the flight tickets.
I know.
There's nothing else.
But everything's so overpriced right now. So,
really is, yeah.
oof, yeah.
I can't wait till it comes down.
Oh, me too. Like,
Yeah.
when is that going to happen?
Hopefully. So, they say here pretty soon, right, Dip?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
And here's another one. Virginia teen was selling his Jordans on Instagram, and he met a couple where the teen was shot and killed for his Jordans. Did you hear about this one, Dip?
Mm-mm.
So this kid, was trying to make, a way to earn some money and stuff like that. He sold his Jordans on Instagram, and he met up with this couple. Well, the couple went and killed him for his Jordans.
Oh my gosh, that is the
Um,
How old was this kid?
He was a teen. They didn't specify his exact age. They just said that he was a teen.
Oh, that is so sad.
But it's not the only. I mean, I hear it time and time again where kids are killed for their Jordans. It just seems to be like a thing that people want. It's just it's more. It's crazy, but
well, they're valuable.
Yeah,
it's
sell them
material
damn
though.
shoes. You sell them damn shoes for thousands of dollars now, man.
Yeah, but it's all material stuff. I mean, no life is worth it. It's just.
Yeah, that's just extreme.
Yeah,
no life is worth it, but shit,
Yeah,
money is money.
Yeah, I mean,
money. People will kill you for money, man.
People are desperate all the time.
Yeah.
My question is, what do you think should happen so the story doesn't continue to be repeated, so kids are protected, for the shoes or for materialistic stuff that they're selling?
Oh, God, just honestly, if you know anybody that's desperate like that, don't even show or talk about the things that you have. Like, sometimes there's kids out there, they'll be like, I got this and I got that,
Oh, they love to floss.
Yeah, they like to floss, exactly. And it's just like, if you are even like talk to anybody who's desperate, like don't floss your stuff in front of them, like that's scary. You just never know what anyone's capable of doing.
Right.
That's crazy. I didn't hear that story at all.
Yeah, I hear it all the time where kids are just killed for the Jordan and stuff like that. Actually, this just happened recently, and it was in Virginia too.
Crazy.
You can't. I don't know the situation, man, but you selling someone something, always meet in a very, very, very public place.
Yeah.
Never meet people at night. Never meet in a non-public place.
Yeah.
Meet at McDonald's, in the middle of McDonald's. Never meet in the alley, back alley, someone's house. Always watch out for yourself, man. You trying to sell things like that, and most of the time it would be better ship it to them.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I don't need to see you, meet you.
Yeah.
I'll ship this to you. Send the money, and they'll be on the way.
Yeah.
That's how normal companies do it. Why? What are you doing?
So true.
Or go into like an established business.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Go somewhere public. You can't do these things, man.
Yeah.
People, we've been seeing it for years with Craigslist, where people kill you, Craigslist, meet you, kill you. You gotta watch yourself nowadays, man. It's no different than any other time, man.
Very true.
People are crazy.
Still dangerous world out there.
It's real.
Very much, yeah. The last one. How do you feel when divorced parents who have moved on spend holidays together and are able to raise the child all together? So like sometimes like the baby mama will hang out with the new mom or the new like step parent, and like the say the baby daddy might not be okay with it, but they're like being best friends. They're trying to like
No, yeah. I actually was married first to my two oldest or for my two oldest. They're from my first marriage.
Yeah.
So, that was a struggle, having, to split time, and they were really, really young. They were still babies when we split. So, there's always a little bit of turmoil when you split, and but you just have to be okay with it. Like it's hard. It's definitely hard when you have to, especially with holidays and birthdays and.
But like in this situation, like so it would have been like where you were friends with the new baby daddy's mom, and he's not okay with you.
Oh God, I don't even know I don't even know. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's another situation. I was
it's just, it's weird,
Yeah,
it's different. It happens, but I would never. I don't know. Like I don't think I ever had a situation like that.
It's just so much toxicity I see in that.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know. Oh.
You know what that means. It's now time for the no, the O, and the laugh, where this and every show we give out a random hack, fun fact, or message and joke. Today's hack. Does your little one have a diaper rash or teething pain? Breast milk. Breast milk will help ease the pain. For the teething, you can make teething popsicles. And for the diaper rash, you can add it to their baby's bath. As you're putting them in the bath, just add some breast milk. Actually, sometimes when I take bubble baths. Like I make sure I get a bunch of like breast milk, and I'm sitting in. I'm just kidding. Yeah, totally kidding.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it's totally kidding. And the joke. A guy told me there was a shark attack today. Did you guys hear about it?
No.
Did you hear about it?
Mm-mm.
The shark took out his whole left side.
What?
Yeah. It took out his whole left side. I couldn't believe it when he said he was all right.
What? He was not all right.
Yes, there we go.
We know he wasn't.
Yes. I always give my dad jokes. So. I know, I was going to do that one instead, but the message for today, especially for you, I mean, again, I can't thank you enough for being able to come in and not just fill this one, but even the other one that we're going to be doing. So I appreciate it. Yeah. We never know the love of a parent till we become parents ourselves. Parenthood is the hardest but most important thing that you will ever do. Like a roller coaster, sometimes it is terrifying, but other times it is a thrill, but always worth getting on again. Nothing will inspire a parent to try harder and do better than a single look at their child. To this amazing parent here, I can't thank you enough for being a mold and having that special bond with your little ones, or now bigger ones now. I admire you. I mean, I watch you all the time, and I'm like, I've known you for a minute, so I'm just like, you know what I mean? You definitely are a role model out there. So I
try to be. Thank you.
And while I'm thinking about the little ones too, they're assholes. I'm just throwing it out there because
they're all assholes.
Yeah, they're little terrors, and then it's like when they're like Sour Patch Kids. Actually,
oh my gosh, that's the best way you can explain that.
Actually, I totally forgot about this. So the reason why I had candy here because I wanted like to talk about like the top 5 candies of like teens, and it was I think it was Reese's Pieces was the first one, and then Snickers was a number 2, and then hold on, Reese's Pieces, Skittles, Snickers was number 3, Sour Patch was 4, and then Twix was 5. That's why I bought it, just because I was like trying to like.
My 12-year-old, she would take the Sour Patches.
Oh,
that's her jam.
Yeah, that's all snacks for you. So you can take all that candy home to them. So, but as we wrap up the show, I want to give a huge shout out to today's special guest, Bernice. I was waiting for it to end. Okay, where can they follow you at?
Oh, you can follow me on my personal page, Bernice Patrick. I mean, I don't really post much. I just really post my daughters and every now and again friends, like close friends. But I feel like I'm kind of like that's just how I show how I do things, like my kids, how they're doing their graduations. Like I'm not that person that posts all the time, but like if I'm doing, like I went to Nashville, like I'll post like a little reel of like our Nashville trip with my girlfriends that we had. But
do you want to push your business?
As much as I love being an esthetician and I miss it so much and I miss all of the salon life, like not really. Dealing with lupus right now is just my main concern, trying to just figure it out and still be normal and still without all this feeling like this 24/7. So once I can get to that spot, then I'll definitely start pushing my business, as an esthetician.
When you're ready.
When I'm ready,
use me as a route, as an avenue, as an opening door, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
Hopefully by that time when you're ready, like I'll be like, I was gonna say TikTok famous. I don't even know why that came to mind, but not TikTok famous. I hope I'm just just known and respected. Yes,
I'm sure you will be.
We'll see.
This is a great podcast.
I'm putting it out there. I'm bringing it to fruition. Hopefully. And as always, Mr. Habari Live himself, Mr. Dip.
Yo.
Please like and follow Habari Live podcast, Habari Entertainment, and check out other shows on there like Habari Live, The Von Rebel Show, Socially Awkward and Uncomfortable, and Wealth for Generations. Please also check out One Love on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated and make it a great day. And we're out.
Peace.
Yes.